milestones to go around in this first season. As mentioned, 9 new players suited up for the team at the start of the season, and of course the trade brought in new players as well at the end of January. So lots of firsts for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and of course next year hoping to get into the playoffs for the first time in 5 years. Welcome back to Season in Review right here on Leafs TV. Annie Petrillo, Paul Hendrick, and there's so much talk every single year, Paul, about Tomas Kaberle. Will he or will he not be a Leaf anymore? But when you look at the first half of the season, before we get into that, he was leading this team almost the entire way in points, and then suddenly he dropped off during that trade when it brought in Phaneuf and Schustrom and Jaguar. What could you attribute to that?
I just think mentally, and he won't admit to it, but when you hear, read, and are being addressed by the media every day, do you think you're going to stay? Do you think you're going to stay? And maybe the team doesn't want you. And of course they do want him. He's a fine puck-moving defenseman. There aren't many of those in the National Hockey League. I think it wears on you, and I think his play deteriorated because of that and beyond that. And let's face it, Andy, he's been hearing this for the last 3 seasons. And now you get to a point where either the Leafs extend him, and if they do extend his contract, I think he settles down and continues to play well. And in fact, you will not see the drop-off knowing that he's going to stay here. But we're in an off-season now, and between the draft and August 15th, if he's not extended, he will be dealt, and I think there will be closure for Tomas Kaberle, who will admit all the time he wants to stay here in Toronto. He wants to win a championship here, and that's a credit to him, it's a credit to the city, and a credit to the Toronto Maple Leafs. But he's got to get some closure, either extend his deal or move him, and I think you'll see consistent play once again from Tomas Kaberle.
2 options, that's it. And we'll hopefully find out shortly from General Manager Brian Burke what happens with Tomas Kaberle. In the meantime, let's go back to halfway through the season when Paul Hendrick had a chance to sit down with the veteran defenseman.
Yeah, obviously every year you get a little bit more experience with the games. I'm close to 800 games now, so hopefully I learned something through all those years, and you learn something every day on a daily basis, trying to get better, and that's what I'm trying to do. And the biggest thing would be the winning Stanley Cup in this city. Last time it was 67, and the last few years we haven't managed to make it in the playoffs, and we need to do it. This city deserve it. We got great fans in here, and it would be awesome to win Stanley Cup here.
A tough month of October, wasn't it, as all these new players came together, and the team is still trying to get over that?
Yeah, it was a rough start. We never expect that after the pretty good preseason, I thought. We were playing pretty well, and we were hoping to bring it into season right at the start, and it didn't happen. We had a tough schedule at the start, and we couldn't manage more points, and put us right down in the last spot, and we kind of battled back a little bit, and the last few days hasn't been good for us. So we have to get back on track right now and battle for the playoffs for the 8th spot.
From one defenseman to the other, we'll be hearing from Dion Phaneuf after the break. Stay with us.